So I bought some books. I bought quite a few books actually, and now I'm gonna show them to you. All of these are thrifted. I really only went, I think, to 2 different thrift stores. A couple of these are off of Pango because I also ordered some books, and then I came home and I had forgotten about them, and then I was like, oh, they're here. Here's a book haul of a bunch of thrifted books that I have no restraint. Before I get started into this big mega book haul, don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to hear more ramblings from my face. I don't know. Anyway, this is not in any particular order. There was too many to really order and organize, so I'm just going to kind of go through the stack. Also, don't expect me to really flesh out what these books are about because I have not read these. So I'm going to do my best little synopsis that I can do, and we're gonna keep chugging along. So I have a mix of sci-fi, horror, mostly sci-fi and horror, if I'm honest. Yeah, let's just get into it. So, where should I start? We'll start out with a book that I'm surprised I haven't read. I feel like everyone and their mother and brother has read this. I've never read anything by Brandon Sanderson. Anything. And I figured I'll buy one of his books so it can sit all pretty on my shelf, and then as soon as I am compelled to read it, I will. So I got The Final Empire, which is the first book in the Mistborn trilogy, saga, I don't know. We have a fantasy world that is ruled by the Lord Ruler, who is abusive and terrorizing the land, and we have an uprising being planned by a criminal mastermind and a street urchin who must learn to master allomancy, which is the power of the Mistborn. I don't know what that is. I know I've heard plenty of creators talk about what this is about and what allomancy is, and I don't remember. So I'm really excited to get into this, and that's book number 1. Book number 2, ooh, there's some sticker residue on this. The Calculating Stars by Mary Robinette Kowal. This is, if I am not mistaken, a sci-fi alternate history taking place in 1952 about lady astronauts. Yeah, we have a WASP pilot, a mathematician, astronauts. A huge meteorite falls to Earth, obliterates a lot of the East Coast, and the climate catastrophe that is kind of spawning off of this meteorite is threatening to render Earth inhospitable. So yeah, 1952, badass female astronauts, scientists, mathematicians. Love to see it. I got this. I have Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is another sci-fi novel. This is about a dying Earth, and humans are trying to find a new place to inhabit. And I think there's spiders, which, if I'm honest, that's the reason that I grabbed it, was because I heard there was spiders. This is a lot chunkier than I thought it was. Yeah, all right, moving on. Like I said, I'm going to be speedy because I have a few to get through. Next up, I have The Light Years by R.W.W. Greene. This is about our main character, Hisako. Her parents make a deal on her behalf when she is born in exchange for a first-class education and a boost out of poverty. She will marry Adim, who is a maintenance engineer and a musician. Anyway, arranged marriage to get her out of poverty, and space things. And it seems fairly short. It's like, yeah, less than 300 pages. So we got her. The next book I ordered and then forgot about is The Between by Tananarive Due. I have not read a book by Tananarive Due before, and I wanted my first one of hers to be The Good House, but that thing is rather large, so I thought I would go with something a little more manageable. This is about a boy. His name is Hilton. His grandmother saves him from drowning and in turn drowns herself. And now we're like 30 years later, something like that, and things are happening in Hilton's life that are making him wonder if destiny is coming back for him, like if he should have been the one to drown in the first place. Everyone has loved something of hers, and I am really excited to read this because I think I'm going to love her. The last book I ordered, also a lot bigger than I realized, also the second book in the series, which I did not realize. I ordered it based on the author and based on the cover, and I didn't think things through. But nonetheless, I'm so glad I have it. That is Everville by Clive Barker. She's thick. Look at this cover, though. I don't know if it's going to focus. But there's so much detail to this cover. I definitely got it for the Nautilus on the front. But then when I got the actual book in my hands, like, look at all the faces. Yeah. I wanted Clive Barker on my shelves. Also an author, a classic horror author I've never read from. I do love Hellraiser, though. And I do intend to read The Hellbound Heart. But yeah, never read anything by him. Wanted to have another master of horror on my shelves. Grabbed this. Was not the book I should have grabbed for that goal. But here we are. This I know nothing about. I know it is a mixture of fantasy and horror. I think we have Portal fantasy horror stuff going on here. And let's read the first line because that's one of my favorite things to do. It was hope undid them. That's a sentence. Okay. These are all the books that I bought when I was back home in North Carolina. I think there's 15 of them. Did I go overboard? Yes. Do I regret anything? No. So these are the books that I got over my bachelorette weekend. So first off, this was free, and it had a pretty cover. It is Birdsong, A Natural History by Stap. That's a funny last name. I got it because it was a pretty cover and it was free, and so no harm, no foul. I don't know when I will read this, but as I do love to read about nature, particularly birds. It's pretty. I don't know what to say. It's about birds. It's pretty. It's about birds. Next up is Pieces of Her by Karin Slaughter. I love Karin Slaughter. Never read one of her standalones. So I've only read like her serialized police procedural books, and I've never read a standalone. And then when I realized they made a show off of this with Toni Collette, the Queen, in it, I was like, well, I gotta read it. And then I never did. So now she's on my shelf. I found an almost perfect copy of a Stephen King book. I am always trying to grow my Stephen King collection. I got Cell. I haven't heard the most amazing things about this, but also it's Stephen King and he's just really fun to read and catalog. And yes, so I got this because it was in almost perfect condition. I also got this buttery covered paperback, The Odor of Violets by Baynard Kendrick. It is considered an American mystery classic. I've never heard of this author or this title. A blind detective follows unseen clues to bring down a German spy plot. I did not read what this was about when I got it. Oh, the author was one of the founders of the Mystery Writers of America. Finally, I got the year's best science fiction. And what year is this from, you ask? 1995. I love short story collections. I'm trying to read more sci-fi. I love sci-fi short stories. And I've always wanted to read something by Ursula K. Le Guin, if that's how you say her name. And she has something in here. So, we have this now. I got the end. This is the final book in a series of unfortunate events. I am trying to collect these as they don't seem to be making these books in this edition anymore. And all the books I'm seeing are either paperbacks or don't have the deckled edges. These are the books that I grew up with, and I want to collect them. And so I'm raiding thrift stores to try and find perfect or almost perfect copies. My main problem is usually the child that used to own a book will write their name here in Sharpie, which is fine. It is their book. They get to do with it what they want, but I don't want their name. So, oh, Fern, big stretch. Hi. Oh, hello. You're knocking things over. You're knocking things over, baby. Your breath smells so terrible. See, now we're in a tight spot. Whoa. Ascend to the couch. What are you doing? Okay. We're gonna ascend. 1, 2. Whoa. As I was saying, I'm collecting a series of unfortunate events. This was the only copy in the thrift store that I wanted, but I didn't have this one, so continuing the collection. We'll dive back into sci-fi fantasy real quick. I got Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This is a really well-known series. It's kind of sci-fi fantasy. What is this about? Because the blurb back here doesn't really tell me, so I'll just read you the blurb, because if you don't know what this is about, we're in the same boat. This is another book I've heard a ton of people talk about, and I forget everything that I've ever heard. I just know I want to read it. His wife taken, his people enslaved, driven by a longing for justice and the memory of lost love, Darrow will stop at nothing to bring down his enemies, even if he must become one of them to do so. Okay, so that sounds fun. There's a map. There's a map. Love to see a map. I'm excited about this. Next up, I actually found the third book in the Lady Astronauts. I don't know if it's a series or just like, I don't know if they have to be read in order. I'm pretty sure they do. Even if they don't, I'm going to read them in order. Anyway, I found the third book, so now I'm just missing the second one of a series that I've never read. But, you know, continuing off of the whole alternate history, 1950s, badass women in science thing, this is just bigger. I found a beautifully, practically perfect copy of Hummingbird Salamander by Jeff VanderMeer. My mom read this and absolutely loved it. I read the Southern Reach trilogy by him and absolutely loved that. So this is like an eco-thriller, speculative eco-thriller of dark conspiracy, endangered species, and the possible end of all things. I love stuff that explores things like that. If you haven't guessed by the things that I've talked about before, super excited to get to this, adding on to my Jeff VanderMeer collection. And finally in this stack, I got, how do I say this person's name? Stronach? Yeah, Fernie? Okay, so I got the Dawnhounds by Sascha Stronach. This person is a Maori author from New Zealand. I read that it was Maori inspired and queer. I was gonna pick this up anyway, just based off of that, but this is about a former police officer. Her name is Yacht. She stumbles across a dead body on night patrol, and she gets murdered and dumped into the harbor, and then she wakes up. So that sounds cool. Also, the cover has like mushroom houses on it. Also, there's little mushrooms at the chapter headings, which are adorable. This seems really fun. It's got a good flop to it. Love a good floppy paperback that stays open while you're eating your breakfast. Now my little mass market paperback stack. I used to hate these, and then I just stopped. And I don't know what changed, but maybe I just love pretending that I'm my parents reading these books for the first time. I don't know. First up, we have The Listeners by Christopher Pike. Is it a cult? They tap into an ancient evil. I don't know. Well, I mean, the cover's cool. I love how these older covers like have two layers to them. So we have this and then we have this. That is so fun. It's just fun. So yeah, we got The Listeners by Christopher Pike. This is kind of random. I got a medical thriller, kind of in the veins of like Robin Cook. This is Harvest by Tess Gerritsen. And this has to do with harvesting organs. Yeah, like someone's harvested heart was supposed to go to this one person, but it gets redirected to like a wealthy other person, and there are consequences for that. I really enjoy medical thrillers. I haven't read a lot of them, but this, you know, little cheap mass market paperbacks from the thrift store are a really low risk way to read some more books. All right. We got four more. These are kind of in order of excitement, I guess. So I got Prime Evil, a collection of horror short stories by these authors, including Stephen King, Clive Barker, words are hard, Stephen King, Clive Barker, Peter Straub, and Ramsey Campbell. Those are the authors I recognize. I don't recognize the other ones. Maybe I should. But anyway, always love, again, short story collections. Anyway, Prime Evil, edited by Douglas E. Winter. I got this real beat up copy of Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton because I have yet to read a Michael Crichton, and everyone that reads this loves it. Everyone that loves the movie also loves the book. I would like to read Michael Crichton, I would like to read Jurassic Park, and now she is on my shelf to be read when the mood strikes, which is the only way that's ever going to get read. I'm very excited about this. I'm very excited to read this book. The last two books kind of go hand in hand. I'm very excited about these old Books of Blood volumes. This is volumes 1 and 2. There are 3 volumes of this, but my mama got these for me because I got really excited when I saw them. So, even horror has its perfection, even terror has its beauty. I was very excited to see these. They are in really good condition. The spines are not broken. I intend to keep it that way, even if I have to read it like this. Yes, books are meant to be read and beat up, but these are now my babies. I'm just very excited about these. These are, if you don't know, these are short stories. One of Clive Barker's, most famous pieces of, collections of work are the Books of Blood. So I am real excited about these. That is my book haul. I'm very excited about this. I'm very excited about this new development. I hope y'all are excited about, why would y'all be excited about my books? I don't know. But if you watch this video, I'm assuming that you're somewhat excited about my books. I don't know when they will get read. A lot of books on here can attest to the fact that I'm really bad at reading my own books. But I have them. I'm getting better. Fern, would you like to come say goodbye? She said, no, I don't know how to get back down. With that, those are my new books. My new old books, I guess. All of them are thrifted. Yeah, I hope y'all have a fantastic rest of your week. I hope y'all are collecting the books that you want to collect and are having fun doing it. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye!